Hey everyone, this is Leah Shoneman with ProfitHub.com, and this is our module on Twitter. What is Twitter? Twitter is a text-based social media platform where you have 140 characters to say, share, promote, and tweet within reason whatever you want. It has also been referred to as microblogging, and Twitter is a quick way to keep your followers up to date throughout the day on what your business, brand, or industry is doing. Alright, Twitter setup. We're going to go over to the Twitter application now, and we're going to go through sign up, profile, settings, and graphics. Alright, when you first come to Twitter, this is what you're going to end up seeing, and if you already have a Twitter account, you can sign in with your username, email, and your password here, or if you don't have a Twitter account, you can sign up here using your full name, your email, and your password. And if you click sign up for Twitter, on the other end, you'll be able to this is where you'll come and create your account. And with your email address, sometimes if you don't want to give out your business address or your personal one, it's a good idea to create a free Gmail or Yahoo account that's just for your social media, and then you can sign up with your social media stuff with that email and everything from Twitter or Facebook or Google Plus and all those other applications. All that information can go to one email address and not clog up any one of your inboxes. So I'm going to sign in really quick, and then we'll see you on the other side of Twitter. Alright, now that we're in Twitter, you may notice, if you haven't already by the time you see this video, that Twitter has completely revamped and changed their entire layout. So we'll go through each of the new areas with this top black bar and where everything is as we go through stuff. But first we're going to go through your account settings. So account settings have moved up into this little person icon, and you hit your drop down, and then it's down here in settings. So now that we're in settings, here's your account settings. Here's your username that you can change at any point, and this is the username that you would have hopefully done in social media prep, so that all of your social media accounts are the same type of username. So this is where you would change that if you need to in the future. Here's your email address, language, time zone, and then down here are some checkboxes that you can kind of customize the way your Twitter account runs. So here's adding a location to your tweet if you want that to be added automatically. Tweet media is display media that contains sensitive content. Mark my media is containing sensitive content, so depending on what your company is, you may or may not need to worry about those. And then making your tweets private, which I don't think there's very many people that end up doing that, because that's kind of defeats the purpose of Twitter, is you want your tweets to get out there to everybody. And then using a secure connection whenever possible is always use HTTPS. So that's kind of as you see fit, and I know a lot of websites and a lot of companies are going to more secure sites, so I tend to have that checked. And then your country, if you're out of the country, there's Twitter for just about every major country that's out there. And down here is your deactivate my account if you ever needed to do that in the future. And then before you leave this page, you want to save your changes. Password here on the side is where if you want to change your current password. Mobile is if you don't have a smartphone, you can still tweet directly from your phone by filling out this information here and activating your phone, as long as you have text messaging on your phone, and if you don't have a phone that runs an app for Twitter and things like that. So that gives you kind of some options that way, which is really great. Notifications. This lets you kind of customize what Twitter sends you and how it communicates back to you about the activity that's going on in your account. I tend to leave all of these checked because I like to receive these emails to my social media account just so I can keep an eye of what's going on. There's also some other ways to monitor this stuff if you don't want emails for everything. So you can customize this as you need and save your changes. Profile. This is kind of one of the most important menus that you can fill out on your Twitter account. Here's where you're going to put your picture, which is the little icon that you see up here, or on your main profile page, which will show up here as well. So it's very important to have a good profile image because it's gonna be the first thing somebody sees when they see a tweet from you. So make sure that it's clear and it's crisp and it communicates who you are, or has your brand name or a good picture of you. You don't want it to be all stretched out and pixelated or anything like that. And then name here is ProfitHub.com, and that is what shows up on your profile again right here. This is the name, and then down here is your little Twitter handle. So name, location, you can, if you're a location-based business, you can put where you're at, if you're in Dallas or you're in Chicago or wherever. So people like, oh, I'm in Dallas, I can go to that store. And or if you're just mainly on the internet, it doesn't really matter if location's filled out. So as you can see, I have that blank. Your website, this is another very important thing to put in. You want to have your homepage or your blog or to a major sales letter that you have started. So this is really key, because if somebody's coming to your profile on Twitter, they're going to see this site, and so you can get some really great traffic from having your main website, your blog site, or a sales letter put in here. Next is your bio, and this is 160 characters that you get to explain your company or your brand or what you as a public figure stand for. And that shows up here on your Twitter profile, and you really want it to be clear and concise and say what you're about and what your Twitter page is about in as few characters as possible. You get 160, so it's not a whole lot. Just keep that in mind. So that's also really important, and you want to make sure that your name of your company is in this description somewhere. It doesn't have to be at the middle. It can be at the beginning. It can be in the middle. It can be at the end. So just keep that in mind, because Twitter actually uses this for SEO purposes, which is great. And then down here is post your tweets to Facebook, and that has to do with if you find yourself that you're going to be on Twitter most of the time and you just want things to automatically post to Facebook and not have to think about it, this is where you would connect your Twitter to Facebook. So anything you tweet will then show up on Facebook. However, if you're on Facebook more and you want those to all your Facebook posts to post to Twitter instead, there's a way for the two applications to talk. Or the other option, which is an option I use mostly, is to have a social media dashboard like Hootsuite and bring in all of your accounts, and then you can log into one area and send out tweets specifically for Twitter, tweets that will also communicate with Facebook, and you can really customize things a little bit more in depth, which I really like. And then, as always, you want to save your changes before you leave this screen. Next is design, and they give you some pre-made theme options here, or you can upload your own image, which is really great. And you just want to keep in mind, and we went over this in social media prep, is that you have 800, oops, we don't want tile. You have an 800K maximum file size on this Twitter background. And then you have a little bit of ability to customize your background color and your link color. If you want more customizing options, check out this little Themelian tool. I really like this to bring more customizing to Twitter pages that I'm working on, and it works pretty easy. And as you can see, they haven't adjusted to the new Twitter theme yet, but they will be fairly shortly, I'm sure. So that's just another great resource for you guys to customize the layout and the background and the colors of your Twitter page as well. Last is apps, and this just shows you what you've allowed to have access to your Twitter account. So as you can see, Hootsuite has access, and Manage Flitter, which I'll go through in just a little bit, has access to my Twitter account. And here, if you have any issues or at any time, you can revoke access really quickly by clicking on this apps setting. Alright, and so then just to recap on graphics really quick, your background width is approximately 1040 pixels, and 108 pixels is available for information on the left side, and that's this little area over here that's 110 pixels. So you want to have any information that you have on your website or your other social media platforms to be within that size. There are some great tools to create simplified themes. We went over this in Social Media Prep. If you didn't watch Social Media Prep, I suggest that you do. There's also some good networks out there to get Twitter backgrounds created for you. Fiverr is a good one. Also, Short Task, you can get some quick graphics made there. And it is also a good idea to have your logo in the background with your tagline and any text that will help people find your other sites, your social media sites, your websites and profiles, and things like that. Terms to know when you first start on Twitter. If you've never been in Twitter, I'm just going to go through the main terms that you're going to encounter and kind of define them a little bit. And if you do know Twitter, then this might just be a really great refresher for you. First is your mentions or @mentions. This is when your username is used in a tweet. Your @mentions will show up in your @username tab in your Twitter account. Retweet, when you see a tweet that you want to pass on to your own followers, just hover over it and click the retweet button. Direct messages, if you want to start a private message conversation with someone, start your tweet with DM and use their @username, and your message will be delivered to their direct message area. Or you can click on direct messages under your settings and just start a new message that way. Hashtags are used to mark keywords or topics in your tweets. It's a way to categorize your tweets and search for others with the same hashtag. Best practice is to not use more than 3 hashtags per tweet. You can also search hashtags by clicking on them. Hashtags are pretty powerful ways to categorize your tweets and also include your tweet in trending topics. So we'll go over that in some more depth later in this video. Best practices with Twitter. Twitter is a sharing platform. People come to Twitter to get and share the latest trends and info, share photos, insider info, and projects that are in development. Share articles and other info as it relates to your industry. Twitter is not only for advertising your product or service. Twitter is meant to be social and to start building a community and clients that care about what you do, and then you care in return about what they're doing on Twitter as well. So it's very community based. Ask. Your followers are a wealth of information. Asking questions will help get you insights that aren't available on stat sheets. It also shows your followers that you are listening to them. So make sure you ask questions when you're, in your tweets as well. Be responsive and respond to @mentions and feedback in real time. Don't go days without responding to direct message or a tweet addressed to you. Listen. Set up some saved searches to easily monitor tweets about your company, your brand, and your industry. And Twitter's new platform has actually made it a little bit easier to do this. So I'll show you that in a second. And stay in the know with what people are talking about. Saved searches are a great way to just monitor keywords and your own brand on Twitter. Be social. Retweet and reply publicly to your followers and customers. Direct messages are great, but don't just stick to responding to tweets in a direct message. Make it out there and available for other people to read to, and it shows that you are interacting and you are available to communicate to on Twitter. Your voice. Think about how you want your business to appear on Twitter and model your Twitter voice after that. Be personal and engage with people naturally. The 80-20 rule, and this is super important, is 80% of your tweets should be conversational and personal and informative. Sharing other people's content, sharing blog posts, sharing other people's tweets and other people's information as it is relevant to your demographic and your niche. 20% should be about your company or selling something from your company or brand. And it might seem kind of disjointed to do that, but Twitter isn't all about, buy my product, buy my product. It's very community based, and people aren't going to even consider buying your product if they don't first have a relationship with you on Twitter. All right, now we're going to do our Twitter app walkthrough, and I'm going to go the basics over sending a tweet, the home tab, the connect tab, the discover tab, and the direct messages. And these Home tab and Connect and Discover are all new to Twitter. So for those of you that haven't that have noticed the change in Twitter, this will be a great run through of how the new Twitter functions as well. Alright, once you're logged into Twitter, this is what you'll end up seeing first off. And if you remember the old style of Twitter, it's pretty much a mirror image of it now, is that the Twitter stream, which is what all of these tweets are here, this is your stream, that was on the left side, whereas all of this stuff was on the right side. So that's kind of the visual changes that Twitter made. To start out with, I'm going to show you the two main places that you can create a tweet. First one is here on the left sidebar, and you can say we'll say something like, "Have you seen this picture?" And as you can see down here, it gives you the count of how many characters you've used, and when it reaches 0, that means you've used all of your characters. You have add an image and add your location, and then your tweet button, which will make it go live, and it'll post it in your Twitter stream. The second place is up here in the corner. They have this new blue button with the little quill, and you'll get a pop-up, and here's where you can start your tweet. And again, you have the option to add your image and add your location and hit your tweet here. Quickly, we're going to go over what a hashtag is, and when you do a hashtag, let's see what's a trending hashtag right now. See, like if you look over here, it says United States trends. Here's some of the top trending hashtags: Doritos, Locos Tacos, replaced film with stupid things people do. So if we wanted to add a tweet that has to do with any one of those, we can, or we can make up our own hashtag. So we can do like, have you seen the new Apple? And then this is so what I'm doing here is yesterday Apple came out with their new OS system, and so I can put out, have you seen the new Apple OS release, and then this hashtag is hashtag mountain lion, and that will categorize my tweet with anything that also has this same hashtag. So we can actually go up here and search for this hashtag, and we're going to get a lot of stuff because not all of it's going to be about Apple, but most of it will be. See here, mountain lion, and then if I had tweeted that, my tweet would show up here as well in this search on for the hashtag mountain lion. So that's kind of how that works, and a great way to use hashtags is if you're doing like an event or some kind of promotion or something, you can come up with your own hashtag. Hashtags don't have to, you can create one. So like if we're to do a live event, join us for the first Prophet Hub, do ProfitHub.com live event. We could make up our own and do hashtag Prophet Hub Live. And then anybody that wants to talk, that is talking about or posting about Prophet Hub Live, it'll show up in the same search and category as this hashtag. So that's a little bit on how to use hashtags and what they're capable of. And within a tweet, if you find a tweet that you like that has a hashtag, like, let's find one. Not too many people are hashtagging today. We'll just take this one for instance because it's a good one. Hashtag Facebook. If I click this, hashtag Facebook, it'll bring up the search results with everything that has that hashtag. So that's another way, like if you see a tweet that has a hashtag that you're interested in, you can click on the hashtag and it'll bring up all the search results for that specific hashtag, and you can kind of see what's trending and what people are talking about on that specific hashtag. And then over here when you're doing searches, you can see the people that are involved with that hashtag. You can see the top videos and the top images. And the great new feature about the new Twitter is that when you click on one of these, you're not redirected anywhere. You just get essentially a blackout screen and a pop-up, and you can start scrolling through these images pretty fast to see what's going on without having to leave Twitter. So Twitter's done an amazing new job of being able to bring the integration and be able to even watch videos without ever leaving your Twitter application. Like here they're bringing in this YouTube video, which is really great because then you never have to leave Twitter, which is probably the point of having the new integrations and the new system. But it's actually really, really nice. The next, so up here they've kind of condensed all the old options up here into some main categories. Home will always bring you back to this home page. Next is the @Connect, and when you click here, this is going to show you your interactions and your mentions. So your interactions are anybody that has mentioned you, like this person has mentioned Prophet Hub, or who have followed you. All these people have followed us. Here's another one that has the @mentioned Prophet Hub. If you just want to see the people that have @mentioned you and not see all the other details about the interactions that people have had with you, also if somebody's retweeted your tweet, has favorited your tweet, has replied to your tweet, it'll show up in here as well. Mentions is where it condenses down to just the people that have @mentioned you. So that's kind of a nice way to filter out all the other stuff and just see who's talking about your @mentioned specifically. Next is the Discover tab, and there's some new features in here, and they've kind of condensed the old who to follow option into here as well. So when you first come to here, the first thing you're going to see is stories. And stories shows trending topics that Twitter thinks you're going to be interested in based off of who you already follow, the kind of tweets you retweet. So it's monitoring what you're doing on Twitter, which is, so it's monitoring what you're doing on Twitter, and it provides you with information and stories and top trending topics that Twitter thinks that you're going to be interested in. And as you use Twitter more, it'll filter out the stuff that you're not interested in as it learns your likes and dislikes more. So this will be all your trending stories that are going on that Twitter thinks that apply to you. And then to see any more about this, you can just click the View Tweets About This, and that will bring up a page that looks like this, which is like another search result. And if you want to, you can save the search right here as a saved search. So that's kind of a cool little function, and it's pretty easy to go find, like, oh, I like this topic, I want to save a search on this and come back and view it later. The other thing is if you want to see, and it also brings the stories in, so you can go directly to some of this stuff right away without having to go search for the original story either. So that'll bring up, where it was originally posted, which is kind of a great feature as well. Activity. Activity shows who the people you follow are following, what the other people are doing, and how they're they're kind of their interactions. Mostly it's who they're following. Like Forbes has followed this person and this person, which means I could possibly be interested in following them too. Who to follow is kind of the new location of people that Twitter suggests that you follow that you could also be interested in. It's accounts suggested to you based on who you already follow. So these are people that Twitter thinks that I could be interested in, and I can just click here, follow, 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 and follow as I see fit. Like, follow, and then I'm following Robert Kiyosaki now. And then also here, it gives you a little person, and you can send a tweet to the real Kawasaki right now, and it brings you up a little Twitter box, and you can type your little Twitter message to them, and you're done. And you don't ever have to leave the screen that you're already on, which is a great new feature. I really love that about the new Twitter. And it is a good thing to, when you do start following somebody, is to retweet something that they've tweeted, or send an @mention to them and say, hey, I just found your page, it looks awesome, something like that, to start building that connection with a new person. You can add them to a list immediately. You can block this person for some reason if you needed to. You can report for spam, hide this suggestion, turn off retweets and turn on mobile notifications for this person. So there's a bunch of new little options that are really easy to find now in Twitter that you can start interacting with people pretty a lot faster. So let's scroll back up. Next is, and then also up here you can search for a person up here, like we can search for Jeff Usner. So Jeff Usner will show up and I can start, I can follow Jeff Usner now. Follow. Or if I have a specific person's, like Jeff Usner, here's at Jeff Usner. So if I have a specific person's Twitter handle, I can follow them immediately that way as well, which is a really great feature as well. So it says search using a person's full name or their username. So that gives you some options in order to find people. Find friends. This allows you to bring in contacts from various email platforms and messengers. So if you want to import an existing contact list, you can. Browse categories is somewhat new, somewhat revamped. You can search for a topic specifically up here. You can search for a full name or a username, which is similar to finding friends. Or if I wanted to find another person specifically, like if I want to find Mashable on Twitter, it'll bring up all the at Mashable names and I can kind of figure out who I want to follow. So Mashable has a social media. Let's follow the social media Mashable. This is kind of the main Mashable site, so we'll follow them. Mashable business, follow them, and so on. So it's pretty easy to find people and things based on categories that way too. If you wanted to do a category, you can online business. Let's see what comes up for that. And here are some accounts that specifically mention online and business within their description, which is why that description is so important, so that people can find you, because Twitter uses that for their search results when you're coming to look for topics or a new account or something like that. So make sure that your profile is all filled in so that this comes up, and when people are searching for specific niches, that you'll come up in those search results. So also with the Discover, if you go home, you see that you have a little who to follow, and it kind of gives you your top 3 people, and you can sort through these like, no, I'm not interested in Lady Gaga, and it'll be replaced with a new person that you could be interested in. And you can follow directly from here, or you can click on their name and they'll bring up a little Twitter box that shows who they are, who they're how many people have tweeted, how many tweets they have, who's following, how many people are following them, followers. Kind of gives you a little mini preview, and if you want to see their website, it brings them up, or if you want to go to their whole profile, you can click on their name and go directly there. Other good resources to find people is Twello, and you can list your business in Twello for free so people can find you, and it gives you some statistics when you start finding people. Like down here, here's the Mashable, Peter Cashmore has this many followers. So it kind of gives you a few insights into the kind of interactions that each person has. Another good option is WeFollow. Again, you can list yourself on WeFollow for free and gives you some more options on how to find people. Like if we're doing entrepreneurship, here's the top rated, most influential people based on their Twitter profiles. So you can start following people based on that. And then as well as there's the regular, who to follow from Twitter. So those are just some options that you can have to find people to follow. Next is direct messages, and direct messages is the private message feature of Twitter found under the person icon. So you click here and you go to direct messages, and this will list out all the direct messages that you have currently. And you can also start your new direct message here, and we can do you can look for somebody based on their name, like I put in Phil because I can't remember his Twitter handle, and then start your tweet here. Phil, we are sending this recording, and send your message, and you're still limited to the 140 characters. So it's kind of their private message feature, and it's good if you have to send a quick private message for some reason. The other thing that you want to remember is that you can't send a direct message to someone that you are not already friends with, or you're not already that is not following you back. So you have to have that two-way follow in order to send a direct message to somebody. You have to follow them, and they have to follow you back. It's kind of Twitter's way to keep spam from happening, which is a really great feature as well. Searches and saved searches are now listed under the search bar. So you click on the search bar and you can see the saved searches that I have, like internet marketing. Now I have this, it has brought up all the results that have internet and marketing inside of a tweet. So here's marketing, marketing, internet marketing, marketing, internet marketing. So that's kind of where your saved searches gets set, is in this little drop down area here now. Lists is back underneath your little person icon. You can go to lists and it'll bring up this screen with home business, clients that have home businesses, clients of Profit Hub, following Profit Hub. So you can start creating these Twitter lists and really categorize the people that are following you and interacting with you based on specific categories. So if you're using your Twitter account and you have people that have home businesses and also have like storefronts, you can separate those into two different categories and are able to manage and tweet to them specifically then, which is a great feature. And then once you have these lists created, I would suggest bringing them into your social media dashboard like Hootsuite so you can manage them from inside of that system as well. All right, that's a little rundown of all of the new options and the different options that you have. Now to break down the tweets. So if you are familiar with the old Twitter, the tweets look a little bit different now as well, and you can see that when you mouse over a tweet, you get your reply, your retweet, your favorite, and you get this new little open button. So if I see this by Peter Cashmore and I want to reply to this, I can hit reply and it'll have @Mashable, and I can type my reply and tweet it. If I want to retweet this, it's just a quick click of a button and it retweets it to my followers. Favorite will list this as a favorite tweet of mine for everybody to see and for me to come back to and see later. And now they have this new feature that says open, and if I open this tweet, I can see how many people have retweeted this, how many people have favorited this, and who has started following Peter Cashmore after this tweet. So, and then down here you have your reply, retweet, and your favorite again. You can see time it was sent, the date. You can see that it was sent via Hootsuite. And now you have this new details tab, which is awesome because once you hit details, it brings up the whole tweet again in its own window, and you can do some new actions with it. You can tweet to this, you can add it to the list, you can block it, you can report it, turn off, turn on. But now you have this new feature that says embed this tweet, and when you click embed this tweet, you get some HTML code that you can customize with a little bit of left, right, center, and once you take this code, you can embed this tweet, and this is how the tweet will look onto your blog post, onto your website, or wherever you want to, and the tweet is actually actionable. What I mean by that is that when you embed this tweet on your page, somebody can click on all these things. All of this is clickable. The person can reply, retweet, and favorite directly from your blog without even leaving your blog, and they can follow @Mashable on Twitter without ever leaving your blog, which is a really awesome feature. And you don't have to worry about taking screen captures of tweets that you do like. You have some short code that you could use in. You have some short code that you can use, and then There's also a link directly to this tweet as well. And then the HTML is how you would end up embedding the tweet in your web page. So that's a really great new feature that's really powerful and actually really fun to play around with. All right, we kind of went over searches and lists already, but I'm going to just run through this really quick. Searches and lists are great ways to keep things organized and stay tuned in to what is being posted in your areas of interest or in your niche. Searches can be saved so that you can easily find out what is being talked about around your top keywords or areas of interest without having to research it every time, like I showed you in those saved searches. Saved searches are always up to date. They're constantly updating, so when you search on it, when you click on your saved search, it's going to be the most recent up-to-date tweets that show up and not things that are 3 days old when you created the search. Twitter lists are a great way to categorize who you are following and who's following you. Lists can be private or public, which is another great feature. If you want to have your clients in a specific list and you just want to see it, you can set that to private and nobody else will be able to see that but you. Or if you want to share a list of influencers in the marketplace, you can have that list and share it and have it be public so people that come to your Twitter can see, oh, what are your lists? And like, oh, I want to know other influencers of the marketplace. Next is what you can do with a tweet, and your top 3 actions that you can do are reply, retweet, and favorite. Newer feature of opening a tweet, and you get some more insights and functions into that specific tweet and who tweeted it. And embedded in a tweet will give you a code for your website or blog post to embed fully actionable tweet, which is a great new feature. Tweeting plan and strategy. So your basic strategy and your plan is you want to plot out what you can be tweeting on a daily basis and put together a general game plan. You want to identify all the activity that can be tweeted, Facebook posts, videos, images, etc., blog posts or things from your website, daily or weekly business happenings, polls and questions, Google Reader, and keep those to about 2 a day. You want things to be going out, fairly regularly during the day. So, 3 to 4 times a day, post something new. Or if you're very involved in your niche, it can be more, as well as sharing other people's stuff as well as your own unique content as well. And find out what you can be posting from other sources. Google Reader is a good place for this. Subscribe to the 25 top blogs relevant to your niche and post 2 to 3 things from them every day. You want to bring in a variety of resources and a variety of posts, and it not just be all about your brand, your site, or you. Remember that 80-20 rule of bringing in 80% of content and valuable things still revolving around your niche, but also involving and then limiting it to 20% about your product, your stuff specifically. Managing followers. Decide how many people you want to follow a day and add them to a list and categorize. 4 to 6 is a good place to start. You don't want to start following 80 people a day. It starts to look kind of spammy. So grow your list and by doing 4 to 6 a day. If you want to start out, if you're new to Twitter and you follow, top 10 people in your niche or that you're interested in, that's fine. Just don't go following 80 people a day because you're going to start looking pretty spammy after that. Manage your followers and who you follow. Decide your follow and unfollow rules. You don't have to follow everyone that follows you back, but you do want to have a specific criteria of like, who do you follow back? Do you follow back your clients? Do you follow back people that just randomly find you? Things like that. And have a guideline for who you follow. A good way to kind of keep track of your unfollows is this Manage Flitter, and you can click Start Connect to Twitter, and it'll bring up a list of everyone who has 11 people that you follow are not following you. So once you log in, it's going to bring up a list of who's not following you back and kind of give you a little insight into how active these people are. Thumbs ups are they're popular. Sad face is you're not following back, and arrow up is that they're very talkative, so they're going to be pretty interactive. Same thing with Mashable. It's a verified account. It's popular. They're not following you back, but you might not care at this point because they are influencers in the market, and you don't always have to unfollow people that don't follow you back. So keep that in mind. If there's, specific people, that's where that list of criteria of who to follow, who to unfollow comes into play, so that you really can manage who's in your Twitter account and who you're talking to. Daily actions. Community interaction. Reply to all your @mentions, all your direct messages, and tweet thanks to all retweets. If somebody retweets your tweet, you want to post out to them and @mention them and say, hey, thanks for retweeting. You really want to acknowledge any interaction people have with your Twitter account or your brand on Twitter. And do it publicly. With direct messages, you're going to want to reply to them as a direct message, so that's private. But with @mentions and retweets, make sure that you do those publicly. Broadcasting. Tweet daily content and activity from your Facebook page so that they're kind of synced in together, and tweet blog or content from your website. Even if it's something from your archives, go ahead and tweet that out during the day too. First post new content. If nothing new to post, like I said, use your archives. Post from Google Reader or other niche specific sources. We talked about that a little bit earlier. And build your community, choosing 4 to 6 new people to follow and add them to targeted lists if they apply, and start engagement with new people by replying or retweeting one of their posts. So you want to keep that interaction going, and not just blindly follow people, but also say, hey, I'm here. And you're more likely to be followed back by somebody if you do start that engagement when you follow somebody, which is great. And that's Twitter right now, and as our goal here in Profit Hub is to keep you the most up to date with social media and with everything that we do. So as Twitter rolls out new changes or tweaks things, I'll be sure to let you know and post a little video or note talking about the changes and how those are going to influence you in the future. Also, be sure to, under this video, download the Twitter setup and strategy SOP that I've created, and that will break it out step by step, each of the things that we've talked about in this video as well. And if you have any questions, be sure to post them in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you on them as soon as possible. Well, and be sure to follow us on Twitter and on Facebook, and we'll catch you in the next module.